All right, this is one of those videos I didn't want to make. I've been sitting with this all morning, trying to figure out how to even talk about it. And honestly, I still don't know how I feel about the whole thing. But here it is. Quinshon Judkins, the guy I've been riding for all off-season, just got arrested in Fort Lauderdale. He spent the night in jail. Yeah, that Quinshon Judkins, the same one I've been hyping up on this channel for months. The same one I've been calling the next breakout star in the Browns' backfield. He's been accused of domestic battery. And, look, before we get into the weeds of what happened and what it all means, let me just say this. Regardless of how this plays out in court, the NFL has its own rules, their own process, their own way of handling situations like this. And unfortunately, those outcomes don't always match what happens in the legal system. So even if the charges end up being dropped, or if this turns out to be one big misunderstanding, that doesn't mean the league is going to look the other way. That's not how this works anymore, especially not with this kind of allegation. So please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Now, I've been trying to wait this out. I've been refreshing the court records, watching for updates, trying to see if anything new was going to come out. But it's been quiet. So I decided it was time to talk about it. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. This one hurts, because I was all in on Judkins. All in. I've been saying from day one, this dude could be the next big thing in Cleveland. Him and Dylan Sampson, man, I thought we had a 1-2 punch in the making. 2 guys who dominated in college. Guys with juice, explosion, game-breaking potential. Quinshon came in with that quiet confidence. He wasn't a loudmouth, wasn't a drama guy, just someone who showed up, kept his head down, played football, and balled out. At Ole Miss, he was electric. Then he goes to Ohio State, wins a national title, and I thought to myself, this guy's going to be a star in the NFL. Especially with Nick Chubb still recovering. The Browns needed someone to step up, and it really felt like they were ready to hand the keys to Judkins and Sampson and let them run wild. But now, everything's up in the air. This whole situation just brings that train to a screeching halt. According to the police report, officers were called around 9 a.m. on July 12th to an address on West Cypress Creek Road. It was a delayed report, meaning whatever happened had already gone down. The victim spoke with police, and they determined that a battery had taken place. And look, I don't want to get too deep into the specifics because, frankly, we don't know enough yet. But they made contact with Judkins and arrested him. Took him straight to Broward County Jail. He was charged with misdemeanor domestic battery. That word, misdemeanor, matters, because that tells us it's his first offense. He doesn't have a criminal record. No priors, no signs of being that guy. But again, domestic battery isn't just a light accusation. Whether it's a misdemeanor or not, the charge itself is serious, and it puts a cloud over everything. We don't know if it involved a girlfriend, a family member, a roommate. People are assuming it was a woman, sure. But the truth is, domestic just means it happened between people who live together or have some kind of relationship. Could have been anyone, and that's the part that's so tricky. Right now, everyone's speculating. But as of this video, there hasn't been a court hearing. He hasn't even seen a judge yet. The only thing we really know is that he was arrested, and it was related to a domestic battery charge. That's it. I want to be responsible with how I talk about this, because I've seen too many people jump the gun on situations like this, either defending the guy to the end or canceling him before we even know what happened. I'm not going to do either. I'm going to wait for the facts. But what I will say, if it turns out this was a case of him laying hands on a woman, I'm done. I'm out. I can't support that. I won't. I've got family. I've got morals. I can't ride for someone who does that, no matter how talented they are. And that's not me being performative or trying to score points. That's just me being real. If we've clowned Deshaun Watson, if we've condemned Ray Rice, if we've made a standard for how we treat players involved in domestic violence, then we've got to apply that same energy here. It can't just be, well, Let's wait and see because I like this guy. Fair is fair. Accountability is accountability. That's how I run this channel. Now let's talk about the football angle for a second. Judkins is one of 30-plus rookies, still holding out for their contracts. This arrest? It's not helping his case. The Browns were already negotiating with leverage, and now they've got a big old reason to lowball him. They're not going to guarantee money for a guy dealing with legal drama before he's even taken a snap. And honestly, I can't blame them. That's just business. It sucks, but that's the reality of the league. And don't forget, this is now 2 years in a row the Browns' second-round draft pick has been arrested before week 1. Let that sink in. When I told my wife Judkins got arrested, her response was, "Wait, wasn't that last year's guy?" Yeah, that's how bad it looks right now. Last year, it was another second-rounder. This year, Judkins. That's not a pattern you want. Not if you're the front office, not if you're trying to rebuild a winning culture. It's even worse when you think about the headlines we've had just in the last month. Shadur Sanders out here treating public roads like a NASCAR track, and everyone kind of laughed it off because it was just speeding. But now Judkins is facing charges that could legitimately sideline him for a while. The tone has changed. We're not just dealing with immature decisions anymore. We're talking about potential violence. There's a real line here. And if it gets crossed, the consequences will follow. Now, legal expert Drew Davenport put out a really solid thread breaking this whole thing down, and I suggest y'all read it. But the key point he made is that domestic cases are wildly unpredictable. They depend on who the victim is, whether they want to press charges, how much cooperation they give, and whether there were any witnesses. Sometimes the case falls apart because it's just two people's word against each other. Other times it sticks and leads to real consequences. The range of outcomes is huge. Judkins is currently charged under Florida Statute 784.03, which carries a maximum punishment of up to 1 year in jail or a $1,000 fine. But it only becomes a felony if there's a prior offense, and from what I've seen, there isn't. So right now, this stays in misdemeanor territory. That doesn't mean he's safe from punishment, though, especially not in today's NFL. If the league decides this qualifies as conduct detrimental under the personal conduct policy, they could put him on the commissioner's exempt list. That's paid leave, sure, but it's basically purgatory for NFL players. It's where they put guys when they're trying to figure out if they're worth the PR storm. And honestly, for a second-round rookie who hasn't proven anything yet, that's a risky place to be. Bottom line, this is a mess. A disappointing, frustrating, deeply sad situation. I hope it's a misunderstanding. I hope the facts clear him. But if they don't, then I've got to move on. I've got to look at him differently. That's just the reality. I can't be the guy who sticks his head in the sand just because I like the film. And man, I feel bad even saying this, but just a few days ago I was sitting here making a video about how this rookie class might be one of the most electric the Browns have ever drafted. Speed, power, playmakers everywhere. Now I'm sitting here going, damn, maybe we misjudged this whole thing. They had a need for speed, and it turns out they're out here either racing through the streets or getting arrested. It's not funny. It's not a good look. And it's definitely not what we were hoping for. So, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support, and it gets crazier. Carson Schwarringer, who the Browns took 1 spot ahead of Higgins, also got a fully guaranteed 4-year, $11.8 million contract. Now this is where it gets sticky. Because if you're Judkins, and you just saw a linebacker get a fully guaranteed deal, you're thinking, hold up, why not me? Running backs and linebackers have similar shelf lives. It's a fair comparison. And now Judkins wants that same kind of money. Here's where the business side of the NFL kicks in. Andrew Berry, the Browns' GM, he's probably quietly happy this off-the-field situation popped up because now he's got a perfect excuse to not pay Judkins the money that Carson got. And listen, I know people are going to give Berry heat for this, but it's a business. From a GM perspective, this is ammo. He can now look at Judkins and say, I can't give you a fully guaranteed deal. Look what's hanging over your head. And that's rough, because before all this, Judkins had real leverage. He was set up to be the guy, the RB1. He was explosive. The Browns let go of one of the top backs in the league, and Judkins looked like he was about to step right into that role. And shout out to D4, he's got juice too. But Judkins was the guy, and now that leverage is gone. Again, I truly hope this all turns out to be nothing. But even if it's not that serious, even if it's something minor, it doesn't matter. NFL teams don't like risk, and GMs will latch onto anything they can to lower your price. So when Judkins walks into that negotiating room asking for Carson Schwaringer money, they might just look at him and say, you want what? How about an incentive-based deal instead? That's what sucks the most. Even if it all gets cleared up, the damage is done, and this isn't just a Browns thing, it's league-wide. Corey Kinnan over at Browns Wire laid out some great insight on this, and I want to share some of that here. As of late June, Judkins still hadn't signed, but he had participated in all the off-season on-field events, so it's not like he's holding out of practice, he's just holding out on the paperwork. But again, this isn't unique to Cleveland. Around the league, a bunch of second-round picks are still unsigned. It's a logjam. And the reason is simple: fully guaranteed contracts. Darius Alexander, the first pick of the third round, only got $1.5 million guaranteed on a $6.7 million deal. But then, Schwaringer and Higgins, who went right before and after Judkins, both got fully guaranteed money. That's never happened before in the second round. Nick Emenwari, who was picked at number 35 by the Seahawks, still hasn't signed. And every second-round pick taken after him is waiting. It's a total standstill. The agents are watching, the players are watching. Everyone's waiting to see who blinks first. So now Judkins is likely waiting on Emenwari to sign. If he gets a fully guaranteed deal, Judkins can come back to the table and say, all right, pay me too. But if Emenwari folds and signs something with limited guarantees, that leverage for Judkins evaporates completely. And then you've got guys on the other end like Andrew Makuba, who was the last pick in the second round. He hasn't signed either, but now he's waiting for everyone else to go first. And honestly, if everybody before him gets fully guaranteed deals, Makuba will probably want one too. But if Judkins' deal falls apart, or he signs something with reduced guarantees, that could ripple all the way down the line. So yeah, Quinshon Judkins is kind of right in the middle of this second-round contract chaos. And the Browns want him on the field for training camp, which is less than a month away. So there's pressure on both sides. The longer this drags out, the uglier it gets. And to wrap this all up, I just think this whole situation sucks. I'm really hoping that everyone involved ends up okay. Not just from a football perspective, but as people. This is about more than just a paycheck or a roster spot. It's about a young dude whose future got complicated real quick. And yeah, I still believe in Judkins. I think he's a talented player, and by all accounts, he's been a good guy. But now we've got to wait and see what the full story is. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you think the Browns should still give him a guaranteed deal? Do you think this whole situation messes up his future with the team? Or do you think it's all going to sort itself out once the facts are clear? And look, worst case scenario? Unless he ends up on the commissioner's exempt list, unless this really is that bad, he's still going to play. Maybe he loses a little money. Maybe the contract isn't what it could have been. But I don't think this ends his NFL journey. We'll see what happens. I'll keep y'all posted when more details come out. Appreciate y'all for watching. Drop a like if you're rocking with the content, hit dislike if not, and don't forget to subscribe for more Browns talk and NFL updates. I'll catch you in the next one.